What's up, Cinemaniacs? I'm back because I just got the chance to see the movie The Walk. And who am I? I am Shane Moore from Facebook.com/The CineBros. You can also find me at YouTube.com/The Movie House Maniacs, where we do things like Cine Talk, which is our movie talk show. I do a lot of reviews. We do a lot of other things. We're even doing some kind of like skits and trailers and stuff like that we're coming out with very soon. So be on the lookout for that. And while I say be on the lookout for that, make sure you head on over there and click that subscriber button. But back to the movie The Walk, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And this movie is a true story based off a high wire artist known by the name of Philip Petit, and his journey to accomplish his goal of having a high wire from one twin tower to the other twin tower. Yes, insanity. And this movie is brought to us by director Robert Zemeckis, who has brought us great movies like Flight, The Polar Express, Castaway, Forrest Gump, Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I mean, he is truly one of the greatest directors of our lifetime. So you know this movie is going to be told very well. And that is true. The movie, the first two acts of this film are told very well. It keeps you engaged in the movie when it could have fallen apart and gotten you bored. But I liked seeing how Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character kind of grew throughout the movie and kind of almost went a little insane. The one thing about Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this role is that his French accent was, I thought when I was watching the trailers that it sounded pretty good actually, watching the trailers. But as you start watching him act next to real French actors, like Charlotte Le Bon, I don't know if that's how you say her name or not, but when you see him act against someone who is truly French, you can see how his French accent is not very good. And it pulls you out of the film just a couple of times because it's kind of robotic and it's not very fluid. You get lost in the movie and that accent becomes a thing of the past very quickly. And another thing I'm going to say about this movie is if you do not know the true story, the 1974 true story of this actual human being, Philip Petit, who strung a high wire across the two twin towers to walk across it. If you do not know the true story about this, do not Google it. It will enhance everything about going to see this movie. This movie, I was probably the most fidgety I've ever been in a movie, especially in the last act of the movie. I couldn't stop wiggling in my chair. I am pretty terrified of heights, and this really made you feel at times that you were up that high with him. I actually had to look away from the screen once. I did my best to just kind of focus in on everything and watch everything, but there was one time that I actually had to kind of look up and away from the screen because I was starting to get a little too anxious. And the build up to this actual scene, putting this wire across the two buildings, it's very suspenseful. The way that Robert Zemeckis directed this and adapted the screenplay was amazing. And the one thing I will say about this movie, the one person that you are definitely going to recognize is Ben Kingsley. And he plays the character Papa Rudy, who is basically the person who trains Philip Petit. And the thing with Ben Kingsley is that it's a good and bad thing because I have always liked JGL as an actor. I thought that he has been amazing in roles like Looper, Inception, yada yada. You could go on and on with his character. Don John, he was very, very good. And up until now, when I saw him go face to face, toe to toe with Ben Kingsley stole those scenes. And that just goes to show you that Joseph Gordon-Levitt still has room to grow as an actor, and I really like that. I like seeing the fact that someone as good as him still has room to grow so he can get even better, and I can't wait to see him keep growing because I expect that from him. He has the work ethic and the talent to be able to achieve greatness. But Ben Kingsley in this movie is fantastic, and I loved every moment that he was on the screen. Talk about a guy that can nail an accent. So my rating for The Walk is a 7.5 out of 10. It was a very good movie, kept you engaged in the first two acts. The third act was very suspenseful and very, jittery. It was amazing. And this movie is truly an ode to the two twin towers, and it really shines a light. I mean, it just shows how much he cared about the twin towers and how the twin towers were almost brought to life through that actual feat. And it even when you get to the end of the movie, you're going to see a pretty powerful scene, in my opinion. I don't know if a lot of people saw this. I don't know how they interpreted it, but the way that I interpreted it was a very powerful scene and actually almost brought a tear to my eye. I'm going to say you need to go out and see this movie in IMAX. This is an IMAX must. You need the sound. You need the huge picture. Have you seen The Walk already? Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. If you haven't seen it, will you go see it? And will you go see it in IMAX? You must see this in IMAX. It's not going to be in the IMAX theater much longer. Go see it now. Well, I hope you enjoyed this review, and once again, don't forget to hit that subscriber button right in front of Howard the Duck, I believe. Might be a little bit lower than him. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope that you guys have a good time at the movies soon.